Welcome to Legacy Mentor Wednesday, where I pull from my cards ways in which to stimulate, encourage your writing, your giving you some prompts to work with. Today, I have the letter S and the associated 5 words and the tree, and I think you'll love the tree. And then the word that I've selected is value or values from a noun verb point of view. And the phrase is IFS Pull. And this is one of those ones that I lean into quite often, and I'm welcoming the opportunity to share it with you. So let's get into sharing them and see what happens for us. To start with, I just want to acknowledge that the letter this time is S. So there's a tree and 5 words that are associated with it. And the letter S is kind of an interesting one because it suggests a flow of energy. There's a sense of elegance with it. And whenever I see the letter S, I think of S curve and this sense of shift. So it's one of those important letters to me, whether it starts the word or it ends the word, because it suggests that there's probably some kind of shift that's happening because of that word. Now, when it comes to the tree, and you know that I pull a tree forward connected with the letter, and I do that as a way and just to remind you that there is a connection with nature, with the planet, that is important to living a legacy life. And with S, it's the sugar maple because it's the Canadian national tree associated with sugar maple, maple syrup. And it's actually on the flag, the Canadian flag. But also, I want to give credit to the 4 kinds of spruce that are across Canada. Now, these ones I've come to know a lot more because of all my days when I was working in forestry and around forestry, whether outdoor recreation, outdoor pursuits, and or actually doing forest related work with youth. And I did a little bit of forest fire suppression. And so I've had some connections with the spruce across the country. So I want to give it its due acknowledgement as well. Now, when it comes to the 5 words that start with S, safety, scrutiny, significance, satisfaction, situation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them in reverse order. Situation is what's happening? What are you walking into? What do you intend to walk into? Because the situation is one of the ways in which you tap into your values. It helps you understand how you're going to apply or gather knowledge, skills, and attitude linked to being ready, able, and willing. So when you walk into that situation, that's why I always start with what's the situation that's unfolding for me here and living my legacy life? Whether shooting a video like this, writing a book, having a conversation, what's the situation? What is it bringing forward? Because there's values associated with it. And the key aspect of values I'm going to talk about after this S review. When it comes to satisfaction, it's about being at peace with what you are unfolding, what you've done, what you plan on doing. And satisfaction has this sense of within, without. I play the satisfaction importance game. Importance is without, within. So when I look at something of a situation, I'm looking at, am I satisfied in what it is that I'm doing or I've done? And what importance would I place on it? So satisfaction from within, without, the importance without, within. It's just a way for me to do a little check and balance. If you want to share the thought of feed forward, or sometimes I might even get into feedback. But when it comes to moving it up in a sense of significance, it's what truly matters to you or to me, and when I'm with others. So, what's the significance of living a legacy life for me? When I'm interacting with others, what's the significance that goes with it? And I'll actually extend it if I can here, and I would use significant care. I'll put caring with significance around making sure about kindness and taking care of others. So, significant care is the significance of taking care of others, being caring of myself, to be able to bring that forward, that kindness forward in what it is that I'm doing. Now, the interesting one that I wanted to bring in was scrutiny, because it's about looking closely as we are valuing deeply. So there's a scrutiny of living legacy life. What is it that I'm looking at? What is it that I'm valuing here? Because that gives me clues about my life, my living, my legacy, my quality of life, standard of living, experience of legacy. And what that does is it helps me to understand my assignment of significance, satisfaction, and what's the situation I'm in or I intend to get into. Of utmost importance here is I'm reminding myself of safety, is that am I engaged with safe systems and am I using safer practices? This is the sense of felt safety that's important from an aging point of view, confidently, gracefully, naturally, and this sense of walking with living legacy life is the safety aspect. Do I have felt safety with that? So that's what I wanted to bring forward in terms of the 5S words. There's a lot more that I could get into, and I have them in the cards that I often pull and go, oh, okay, shape, steep, stamp. These are other words that have multiple meanings that I'll cover in another video. The single word that was picked out of the cards was value. And when I think of values, I think of the noun and verb use of values. When you think of value as a verb, it's to value something, it's to care with, respect, to hold something as important. And when you do that, what you're saying to yourself is, I value what it is that I'm doing. So let me give you an example. I value kindness, so I try to live it and pass it on. So if I value something, this is the action that I'm taking on an outcome that I'm wanting to bring forth, to share, to shape and share with others. And therefore, it becomes a sense of caring and therefore respecting, and therefore I'm noticing something that's important for me to take a look at. When it comes to looking at value through a noun format, what's happening here is that I'm saying, okay, what is it that I value in moving forward? In other words, it's a core belief, a principle that I hold on to, and it expresses what it is that I'm actually going to be doing, being, and having. And what happens here is that you have a hierarchy of values that you tap into, and it helps you in what your decision making is about. So let me give you an example of when we think of it in a noun sense. One of my core values is curiosity. It shaped how I learned, taught, and mentored others. So, this sense of core values, it's what is my truth? What's my worth? What's my usefulness that I assign to what it is that I'm doing? And therefore, this noun and verb playing themselves off with one another is an important contribution to living your legacy life. And I think of it this way is when I am gathering knowledge and improving and focusing my skills and taking a look at the attitude that I'm sharing, One of the aspects is that I have to come to understand what it is that's going on, comprehend it, analyze it, synthesize it, and value what's going on. What is of value here? And that is aligned with my truth, trust, and transparency. It's aligned with that sense of truth, worth, and usefulness or utility. So, this word values has a lot of impact, and when you unpack it for yourself, both from a verb and noun point of view, and do that through your writing and your journals and taking a look at what's unfolding for you, look at this values aspect of living your legacy life. When it comes to the phrase that I pulled, it's IFS pull. Yeah, pull. And I'm linking it to legacy in this way is that IF stands for improve, focus, and strengthen. And sometimes I'll use it as imagine futures, that future aspect, the I, F, and S on the end of futures. And when I'm thinking about legacy, I'm thinking about what is it that I could improve, focus, and strengthen from the future and bring that into that intention into what it is that I'm doing on any given day. And so let me express it in this way: improve the present from the future, focus the present with the future in mind, and strengthen the present, walk in a direction of that legacy. Now, what's happening here is that if's pull is not something that's fixed. There's still a little bit of wiggle room that's associated with it. And that's okay, because what it does is it gives you a sense of, oh, okay, I have to remember that it is easier in a sense to pull a rope than it is to push a rope. So why don't I think about my legacy as what's my legacy pulling out of my present rather than me trying to push everything. Now, there are times when I'm not saying you're not going to push. You may have to push yourself a little bit to get certain jobs done, writing done, videos shot. I understand that. But in a sense, what would happen if you thought about living your legacy life from what it is that you're pulling from the future? Letting your mystery guide you rather than thinking my legacy is about tapping into my history all the time and figuring out what I wanted to bring from the history. When you're looking at, oh, this future and this mystery, what is it I can tap into, that imaginative work, and bring into my present? It's one of those ways of shaping the present from the wisdom of the future. I like that way of looking at things. So, in moving forward with the video, I just want to remind you to share your learning down below. Comments are always appreciated in all ways. They're appreciated because we can learn together. The other thing that I would mention is subscribe, but importantly, go and watch the next set of videos. Now, in particular, there's a video here that's suggested for you about advancing your understanding about living legacy life, and also a link to the shorts playlist where there are prompts, all different kinds of prompts that can help you in writing your stories, shaping and sharing your stories. So give it a go, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video, and take care.